when it comes to power and a good person wielding power, oftentimes you're going to see that when a good person has power, they create what's well known, and let's say for the US, checks and balance. They understand, as for what you were saying before, absolute power corrupts absolutely. That's how that quote works. It's not so much that the moment you get power, you start to become corrupt the more that you have it. Is that absolute power where you're in control of absolutely everything. That's when it corrupts you, because it's corruption in of itself. Because ultimately you live in a world where resources are limited. And when you have to redistribute resources, or when you have to do a certain thing to help certain people, very oftentimes, in fact, more often than not, you're hurting people over there. That's why it becomes so difficult to be a leader, because when you're doing something, even though it's for, let's say, the greater good, or that you're helping a group of people, you may not be aware of how it's harming people. And even more so, you could not be aware how it might eventually cause harm, because you're not seeing the future as how this has an impact over a long period of time. Ultimately speaking, this is also why you want to switch leaders from time to time, whereas you don't want to have a dictator that just is always constantly doing, making decisions.
Very true.
Because we understand as human beings that we are flawed.
Yeah.
And the way that I see power, one of the reasons that I want so much of it is because, and this is where my ego comes in, I want to be part of the checks and balances. I want to have enough power that when I see someone is doing something that's too much, I have the ability to fight that person to remind them that they're not God.
Yeah. To be like, hey, I want to be the world's check. I get that.
Yeah.
And
it's kind of like
professional. You want to be the professional. I'm a check a motherfucker, like the professional check a motherfucker.
In fantasy, in video games, for example, stuff like this and these concepts exist. For example, the assassin class in Assassin's Creed.
Yeah.
Right. Whenever they see certain groups of people having too much power, they go and they steal it, or they take it away, or they destroy it, so that no individual group or individual
turns
person.
out even that's what do you call that group of people, they were corrupt themselves. So
you had individuals within them that were corrupt that ended up corrupting the whole thing.
Yeah.
Right. But that's just kind of like how that story goes. It doesn't mean that there aren't people out here in the real world every day.
I just have that, like, that, what do you call it, that cynical, jaded view of things, that anytime people come together to do good, my God, they always find a way and learn how to do it wrong.
We're still very young human experiment, experience.
I know. Just look at the whole thing with Charlie Kirk. It's like, it's just like, man, huh?
I don't want to talk about that.
Why?
Because I don't want to say something that I don't want to say.
You'll be fine. I'm only mentioning it like very shortly. You'll be fine. Okay, chill.
This man just died. It's not even a month. All right, fine.
No, I talked about it in another video that I made. I'm not gonna ever like tag his name and stuff to get views. I feel like that's gross. Especially if you didn't know him personally, that's weird. Especially if you're not a news site either. But anyway, I'm just saying, like, the whole Charlie Kirk situation, or just any situation in which a person who tries to do good, and it seems to be that person gets taken out in some way, form, or fashion, whether it's like legit taken out, dead, or in the sense that taken out by, like, just removing him from his position of power, right? And just corrupting whatever the frick they just created. And it seems to be that that's what's happening, or what they're trying to do when it comes to his company Turning Point USA.
Yeah.
Turning Point USA. Apparently, there's theories and talks that, like, that they seem to be like they were this. It was like a Judas moment, Jesus and Judah and like all this stuff,
I'm a child of the internet from the early 90s, late 80s. Like, this is exactly the type of stuff that I'm
Yeah.
inclined to
But
believe.
that's the
So,
saying is like it's like can I ever really believe in any cause that ever tries to do good? Because
yes, you can.
in the end, they always just there's always people who corrupt it. It makes me really it makes me really not like organized groups of people coming together. Like I can believe in a group of individuals who have a free thinking minds, and I can be like, okay, I can trust these people. But once we come together, trying to do something together, man, I don't know if I can trust them anymore because things get messy, things get money gets involved, or just things other and agendas grow in others, and like it just becomes more complicated. And not actually, it's not even that complicated. It just becomes good people do either out of selfishness change from wanting to do good to wanting to do good for themselves only, or they simply just they change how they see doing good is, and that results in in other people, getting harmed. I don't know. It's very hard.